say. The more you learn.
A very good morning to all gathered here for the third day of International Alumni Series organized by JPI Institute of Technology Alumni Association and Bureau of Higher Studies of JPI Institute of Technology. I'm very glad to welcome Dr. N. Murray Wilson, Managing Director of JPI Institute of Technology, our guest for the day, Mr. Anish Venu, Data Analyst, Machine Learning Engineer at DNV Energy at Germany, our principal, Dr. L.M. Merlin Livingston, principal of JPI Institute of Technology, and all my dear fellow participants. It is such a privilege to have with us Mr. Anish Venu from Germany. He did his bachelor's in mechanical engineering at Marmelin Institute of Technology and his master's in wind energy at Hochschule Flensburg. He's currently a data analyst, machine learning engineer, renewable engineer advisory, DNVL Energy at Germany, with more than 2 years of experience in developing analytical and statistical models for wind turbine systems. Most recently involved in developing machine learning applications to predict and extract the relationship between the measurement data. Optimizing the performances by deploying data-driven models has been his key focus during his career. We're glad to have you with us, sir.
Thank you, Rachel.
And
Thank you,
today's
everyone.
topic is all about application of data analytics and machine learning in the field of renewable energy and career and higher studies opportunities in Germany. Thank you all once again for joining in, and over to Mr. Anish.
Thank you, Rachel, once again for the nice introduction. So can you please confirm me whether you could see my screen properly? I've shared it. So...
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. So first of all, I'd also like to thank our director, sir, Mr. Mary Wilson, for giving this huge opportunity to address my fellow juniors, and also the organization team for pulling out such a good event for the upcoming students. And yeah, so myself, Anish Venu, and I've graduated from JPA Institute of Technology from the batch 2012-2016, and I did my bachelor's in mechanical engineering. And after finishing my bachelor's, I came to Germany in the same year to start my master studies. And I did my master's in the field of renewable energies, especially focused in wind energy technologies. And in parallel with my master's, I also did a certification diploma in artificial intelligence and machine learning technologies. So right now I work as a data analyst and machine learning engineer, where I have a chance to connect my wind energy knowledge together with my artificial intelligence skills. And that's what I do in my daily job. And in today's session, I'm gonna talk a few words about data analytics and machine learning in the field of renewable energy. As we already know that machine learning is a boom word and also the trendy word, which is very popular these days. And I would like to extend its application in the field of renewable energy and also show some application where I use and people use machine learning today in commercial business, very specifically in wind energy business, integrated into wind turbines. And also at the end of the session, I'd also like to show a small demo where I can show how automation is being used by industries these days, and how we can automate things using robots or using RPA process, or using any kind of machine learning model. And the last session would be in the later part, we could talk about some details about higher studies in Germany. And I'd be more than happy and glad to answer the questions from the participants if they have some specific questions regarding what they need, or how they have to prepare themselves when they decide to go to Germany to do their master studies. So let's start going into the presentation. So as I already mentioned, today's topic will be giving a summary about data analytics and machine learning in the field of renewable energy. As a first slide, in the first slide, I would like to tell you guys, first of all, what's machine learning. I think most of the people in the call would have already known what's machine learning, what's artificial intelligence, what's data science, and all these things. But still, in this slide, I have summarized 3 of my favorite quotes for machine learning. And yeah, basically, machine learning is nothing but a machine which is able to learn. And once it is learned, it is able to perform something what a human can do. Like some tasks which a human is doing every day, it is able to learn through a process known as a training process. And once this training process is over, the machine is completely ready to do something in the future. So without involving any manual work. So how do we do it? Data is the key. So data is the primemost factor when it comes to machine learning models. You feed like historical data into your model and help your model to learn about a particular system. And through this data, the model is also able to understand how the system works, how the system usually behaves. And once this process is over, now the model is ready to to predict, or to forecast, or even to do some normal tasks which engineer or which a normal human is doing every day. So all these processes are done without being explicitly programmed. So you don't have to program each and every line like you do for a software development, but rather it's like a sophisticated thing where you help your model to learn through the data you give them. So you would have also known in the last years. So now we are right now in the industry 4.0. So industry 4.0 is nothing but digitalization. So everyone wants to get into the stream of digitalization. They want the world to be more digital and digital because of the current trend. And yeah, and in the past years, they used a lot of sensors and they used a lot of systems to collect a lot of data, but they never use this data anymore. And in the current industry situation, we are deploying these models to make use of this data and then make our business more effective and more cost efficient and also most reliable. And that's why machine learning plays a huge role these days. While a lot of things which we were not able to do in the past, we are able to do right now with the help of machine learning and also some artificial intelligence model. One of the to make it easy and simple for the people who are there. So one of the simple application of machine learning could be your Gmail account. I think everyone is using Gmail, Yahoo, or any kind of mail system. And there you could always see, whenever you get a mail, sometimes Gmail decides it's a primary mail, and sometimes Gmail decides it's a spam mail. And how does Gmail is able to do that automatically? It's a process of machine learning behind it, where a system is being trained to see it, to classify which is a normal mail and which is a spam mail. So whenever it gets a mail based on experience, which it has gained from the data given to the model, the system is now able to decide, okay, this mail, I think it's an important mail for my user, and when it sees some advertisement or when any crap mail, it thinks, okay, I should not trouble my user with this mail, let me put this in the spam box. So this is one of the application of machine learning. And another common application which we see every day in our day-to-day life is, let's say you guys search for buying a shoe in an online website like Flipkart or Snapdeal, and then you decide not to buy it, or maybe you buy it. But even after you buy it, whatever you do in another search engines or other websites, you always get a pop-up of shoe advertisements, or advertisements of whatever product you search for. And this is also based on a machine learning process behind your system, where there is a real-time model which is being continuously fed with the data of the user. So you're the user in this case. And what all you search in internet is being stored as a cookie or as a kind of information which the model is read. And based on it, the model is trying to give you some recommendations. So these kind of machine learning application is known as recommendation systems, which almost all kind of online business business companies make use of it. So like Amazon or Flipkart or, eBay and all these kind of websites. So these are some of the common applications of machine learning, which we see in our day-to-day life. But in today's session, we are not going to see machine learning in computer vision or machine learning in pattern recognition, or rather machine learning in e-commerce business or in advertisements, but rather we're going to see how machine learning is actually being employed in renewable energies, very particularly in wind turbines and wind energy systems. And we are also going to see how, I'm also going to share a few words how we make use of these technologies to make renewable energy more cost efficient and also more reliable and also faster process. So that so from the first slide you would have from the summary you would have already got some few idea what is machine learning and what it is. So in the slide, I would like to say how you develop a basic machine learning model. So how do you develop it actually? So in a short way, so as I said, the prime node dependency is from the data. So as big your data set is, as big your database is, and a proper database is, your model can be built more and more effectively. So let's say in the wind turbines usually, so everyone would have seen wind turbines, even in India and also particularly in Chennai, when we go far away from the city, you could see a lot of these big structures where fan-like structures, which is rotating when the wind is, when the wind speed is more. And and from this, we also generate electricity, and it's a kind of a pure energy, green energy, and it's a renewable source. And as everyone knows that in many statistical views say that in next 20-25 years there will be really a scarcity of energy as fossil fuels deposits are getting low and low every day, and the world has to alternatively depend on renewable energy one day. So wind, solar, and biofuel, hydrogen gas, these are the upcoming renewable energies, and wind has been already established so well. So implementing machine learning and artificial intelligence technology in renewable energy studies is also improving this technology even to a next step, and also making the technology more cost efficient and also more reliable. So as I already mentioned, so when you see these turbines in the last years, or these turbines has been standing there for more than 10 years, let's say, and the turbines has been instrumented with, are equipped with a lot of sensors everywhere in the structure. So all the important critical structures are usually maintained, or usually seen through the data coming out of the sensor. So usually you put some sensors, like basic sensors all over your blades or your tower structure. Let's say there is a gearbox inside the top structure, and then they put some sensors and also some condition monitoring system, which is continuously giving you some data. And in the past, what do the engineer usually does is, like, okay, he sees the data is being collected and it is being processed and sent to a system. And every week, the engineer used to sit and then open the data and then visualize the data and then see whether all the behavior of the turbine are good, and is the turbine behaving properly, and if the turbine dynamics are good, or is there anything happening with the functionality of the turbine. So he sees this manually himself, looking on the data. Or they would employ some basic alert system saying that in case if something is broken or something, they would get a message. Let's say one of the gearbox has a big problem, or let's say the generator in the wind turbine has a failure, then they would get a message. But these they know only once the failure has occurred, or let's say when something big has happened. But what the current world wants us to predict something, what will happen, to foresee something, what would happen in the next weeks, right? So this process is known as predictive analytics. So you want to foresee something, what's going to happen in the next 2 weeks or next 3 weeks. So when you could do this would help you to maintain your wind farm or your wind turbine in a much more better way. And and when you see what's going to break in next 2 to 3 weeks, or what's going to give you problem next 2 to 3 weeks, you can already make your maintenance team ready, or which would reduce your downtime, and also you can better plan your operation and maintenance strategies. And also there's a lot of advantages of doing this. So what we do, so in Industry 4.0, and so I work in as I already mentioned, I work as a data analyst and machine learning engineer. We try to develop models where these things can be done automatically using a self-operating model. So self-operating model is nothing but a machine learning model. So what we did is, so this turbine has been standing there for, let's say, five years now. And that means we have data from all 5 years, so a lot of data and a lot of usable data. So we try to feed these data from the turbine into our system, which is nothing but the model which we develop. And then we try to process the data, and we try to make the data in a way that it can be learned by my model. And then once my model is learned and it's completely trained, it now knows how a turbine has to perform usually. And if it sees some unexpected failures, or if it sees some unexpected behavior than usual, then it will report to us. So at the end, we would have an AI model, and this AI model is constantly getting the live data after it's been trained with the 5 years of data. So after that, it gets the live data from the turbines like every day. And then it always looks the data itself and then sees, okay, everything is fine. It looks like normal. And if it sees something is going wrong, if it's something is being unusual than expected, then it will give us a mail, or it has been programmed in the way that it would send us a mail, or it will tell something is going wrong. So this is the way we use machine learning models. One of the application, I've just told one of the application how we use machine learning models when it comes to wind turbine data. And in the next slide, I'd like to also show some example. I'd also like to show some example where with some plots how these models is helping us. So here you can see in the graph, so there are two graphs. So in the left side graphs, there are two curves. One is a dark blue and one is a light blue curve. In the dark blue curve, so in the y-axis is nothing but it's a pressure, oil pressure of a gearbox system inside a wind turbine. So the dark blue curve is the curve how the pressure curve should look like. This is how the normal pressure curve should look like in a gearbox system based on the last 5 years of data. But suddenly the pressure curve looks like how it's shown with the help of this light blue curve. So you can see the difference between the dark blue curve and the light blue curve. Definitely the light blue curve has something to do with the system. Something has gone wrong. That's why the pressure of the gearbox oil has increased drastically. And the machine has identified that you can see in the right side curve. So machine learning model is nothing, it's nothing but a set of mathematical equations. So it's not, as I told you, it's not like a lot of programming. It's like basically a lot of statistical equations and a lot of mathematical and logical equations you feed into your model, and that will look how the data in the last 5 years looks and how the data in the presently looks. So here you can see in the right side plot the data from the last 5 years. They are inside certain thresholds. You can see the bars, like it's plus or minus 1. They're always in between this. But the new data, it seems like they're really increasing drastically due to some problem in the gearbox system. The oil pressure is increasing and increasing, and this might surely make bring us to a point where the gearbox is completely damaged, or we should replace the gearbox or something like that. So when the model foresees this issue even before it completely breaks out, so we would be aware that something is going wrong. We'd rather stop the turbine, or we'd rather call the operator which is close to the turbine, and then you'd have a look on it. So these kind of things would help us reduce the downtime, and also make our data visualization, and also to maintain our turbines in a very effective way. Another example here, you can see it's the last one was for a pressure of a gearbox oil, and in this one I'm showing you a generator temperature, actually generator winding temperature. It's very similar to the last plot. Here you can instead of the pressure oil of the pressure, you can see the temperature of the generator. The dark blue curve is how the temperature is supposed to be in the generator, but the light blue curve is what the temperature is actually, which is far away than the expected temperature. And again, my model is able to detect these kind of these differences in the behavior. And of course, it has to be reported, and the model sees something really fishy, and then it sends us a mail or an alarm to an engineer who's responsible to it, saying, "Hey, look, I've seen something bad. Please have a look on it," and something like that. So just imagine how much time it would have taken for an engineer to check this every day. He has to sit in front of a computer, download the data, and upload the data in some frameworks where you can visualize the data, and then he has to check the data every day. And a wind turbine is like a really non-complex structure, right? There are a lot of sensors. It's very similar to a automotive engine. So you cannot, if you have to monitor an engine, you have to almost see that visualize the data coming from each of the engine components, and it's highly time consuming, and also it's from a normal human, right? So you might get tired at one point, and you might miss some small information which is very important for the future of the turbine. So with these kind of models, these all the operations are being automated. And also, it's really fast. And, the main thing is we don't need anymore to do this, any engineer to sit and do this, like, for hours and hours, which we did in the past. So, and to perform these kind of things, the basic thing we need is the data. And this we have a lot, actually. And now the current industry process is trying to use this opportunity to build models based on these available data, and then perform things automatically using machine learning and artificial intelligence model. So, since my part is machine learning and I also do data analytics, I would like to show some automation demo here. So right now, all the students, if you're third year or fourth year, you're writing a lot of reports basically from your mini projects or your final year projects. And we developed a tool for writing the reports automatically. So it's like a kind of a small robot which could write your reports automatically. You don't have to. So let's say if you have to write 20 reports a day or in a month, and all the 20 reports are very similar, and they are not different from each other. You write 20 reports for 20 customers based on the same topic, and you have to do the same process every day. You have to write 5 to 6 paragraphs, and then you have to copy some pictures here and there, and then and let's say a report is of 50 pages, and think how much time it will take a human to write this. You know yourself, because you're writing this, your bachelor, your project, your final year project reports, and also your mini project reports. You know how hard it is to format a report, do all the things manually. So I developed a model where we could write the reports automatically. Actually, you just click some buttons and then you can see a Word document being written automatically with a lot of pictures being pasted from a source, and also a lot of information being edited, and also the report is being formatted and ready to be given. So let's see the demo now. I'm going to show you how this. So now you can see a Word document. So in this Word document, you can see it's almost about 80 pages. So it has all the content and everything. So now I want to paste a lot of pictures in this, and also edit some information based on a particular project. And I have to do this for 81 pages because this document is 81 pages long. And let's see how this machine is able to do this automatically. You can see all the tables have been copied now from a source, automatically. There's no manual work involved. And you can also see, like, everything is being copied, formatted, put it in the right place as a human would do it. And also, yeah, all the important information which has to be changed based on a particular project is being changed. And yeah, and it's 81 pages. Just imagine how much time it would take if we have to do this manually. We would spend, like, I don't know, a week writing this report, and a week for each report, right? So now we optimized it, and you can see how fast it is. Like in few seconds, the whole report will be done, and then you can see it's not even a minute, and almost we are up to now 30 pages. And after this report is done, an engineer or a user will be checking whether the algorithm has performed everything in the right way, and also to make sure that everything is being right, everything is done accordingly. And once it's done, we convert into PDF, and then we publish the report already. So this is so quick, and it's done now. The process is over, and you can now see, like, because this is one of the commercial reports, I've anonymized a lot of information, but you can still see all the pictures is being copied, and you saw when it was copying in live. And yeah, so these kind of things we do based on automation, and to reduce a lot of time. And as I told you, just imagine how much time an engineer or any human needs to write this report. And let's say if he has to write 10 reports in a month, then this month is over writing this 10 reports. Now we write these reports in a minute, and we generate a lot of reports like this. So this is where automation can help you as well, using these kind of models. And and this is what the current industry needs as well. So as we all know, there is already, the world is being so digital these days, right? You have never seen the world so digital. Before 5 years or 10 years, you never imagined that the world would have been so digital as it is today. So everything is right in place, and the only thing it's missing is to automate them. And that's what the industry is doing these days. They're trying to automate and digitalize everything which is available right now. And that's where artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science, data analytics comes playing a big role. And yeah, that's why the industry also needs people with these skills, because they see the advantage of the data, and they also see the advantage of automation. And they would like to always have engineers with these skills, because these kind of things or a process is what brings profit, or what brings a value to your company. When you do something like this to a customer or to your company itself, they're really satisfied, because it reduces a lot of time. First of all, time is money in an industry. The amount of time you save is the amount of money you saved when it comes to an industry. And also, when you can produce research faster with high quality and high reliability, that's exactly what digitalization wants to do as well. So that's all from my side regarding machine learning. And I've shown you some demo, and also I've explained you some basics of all the things. So if you guys have some questions, you can ask, or should we proceed to the higher study section?
So we're receiving a lot of questions from the chat box, sir.
Yeah,
So we
sure.
have two questions from our participants.
Yeah.
What happens when the generator winding temperature got very high and low, and how will it result in the output model? It was a question by Jayaprakash.
Yeah. So as I told you, we train our model with all kind of data. So we don't train our model just with the data where the temperature is performing good. In that case, the model will not recognize something bad happening to the generator because it is not being trained with those kind of data. In this, we try to build a database which has almost wide range of data, so that the model is being generalized in a way that it is able to foresee or predict a lot of things in the future. So if the temperature of the generator is going low and high, there are certain thresholds or a reference value we would know and we would program the model with. And based on that, if the temperature is going very high or very low, the model will indicate us. If, of course, there might be cases where the temperature can go high. For example, if the turbine is rotating non-stop for 2 days, let's say, and all the components are in action and the temperature may go high. But this is a usual behavior when the turbine is rotating for a long time. And how we know the turbine is rotating for a long time is through another data sets. So, for example, there's a status signal. For example, the status signal says the turbine is rotating. So the temperature goes high, it's fine. But if the temperature is going high when the turbine is rotating only partially, then something is really going bad with the gearbox or the generator. So that's what we would find through these models, actually.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. I hope Mr. Jayaprakash should have got his doubts cleared. And we have another question by VVS Jayam. Is automation easy to design models, sir?
Can you repeat the question? Sorry, I didn't get
Is
it properly.
automation easy to design models?
So, to be honest, I don't completely understand the question, but basically, you do automation based on models, right? You have to build a model or a tool to perform automation you want to do. Like if you see someone is doing a work every day, the same work every day, then you want to deploy a model there and then try to make these things automized. For that, you have to build a model, but I don't really get the question. If is automation built through models? Like, yeah, of course, automation is done only through models, actually.
Okay, sir. Thank you. I think he'll come with a clear question next time.
Hmm.
We have a question by Mr. Fennel and George. What do
Yeah.
you think is the difference between RPA and the automated report?
So you with RPA, I think you so the automated report which I've shown you, it's also basically deploying a model, and this model is done based on a lot of scripts and a lot of tool development, right? So I think RPA is basically you use different frameworks, and also RPA is it's also deploying a robot there. In this case, it's not a robotic process automation. It's just a model which we developed to make automation to come up with the automation which would help us in our day-to-day work. But it has nothing to do with RPA, actually. We do RPA in a different way, and with the automatic report generator I've shown you. This automatic report generator is basically a group of scripts and a group of algorithms which we scripted based on the experience we had developing reports. We see what all can be automized and what all can be done automatically. And then we wrote algorithm to do this for us. Actually, it has nothing to do with RPA process, actually.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. And we have a request from Subhash Kumar requesting you to suggest a tool that can be used for automation.
So it depends. When it comes to a framework or a tool, it depends upon the application or the field you try to use it. So the automatic report generator which I showed you guys here is basically developed with Visual Basics, actually. A lot with Visual Basics and few things in Python, and you can do automation almost in all the frameworks. Like when it comes to these kind of models, you can do it in MATLAB, Python, Visual Basic, C++, and everywhere. It is highly dependent on the field of application you use and each framework has some advantage and disadvantage. You have to validate that based on where you use and how you're going to deploy the model at the end of the day, and also whether you're ready to pay for the software or not. If you guys use Python, it's open source, and you don't have to pay for a third party for the license or something. So but some people use MATLAB. In that case, they pay some license because it brings up some advantages with as well. So it is highly dependent on the application you use and the process you do at the end of the day, actually.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. And that's it for now. You can proceed with your presentation, sir.
Yeah. So now I would like to say a few words about what was my journey to how was my journey to Germany, and what all I did to come to Germany, and maybe this might give an insight about what's already needed to come to Germany. And yeah, then if the participants have some specific questions regarding this topic, I'd be happy to answer that as well. So as I said, in 2016, I finished my bachelor's, and then in April, May, I submitted my final project, and then my exams were over. And then in September the same year, I flew to Germany to start my master's studies. So I just wasted like 2 to 3 months in between, which it's not wasted, the preparation time. So I think this was possible only because I started all my process really early. So I started because I was very sure I'm going to do my master studies. So I started preparing myself, and started all my preparation in my sixth, or I'm not sure, I think fifth semester already. At the end of my third year of my bachelor studies, I started preparing for my IELTS exam. And so basically, to start your master studies, you need basic exams to be, you have to write basic exams. Like one of the main exams, particularly when it comes to Germany, is IELTS. And IELTS is a exam to test your English knowledge. You can either write IELTS or TOEFL. And so I wrote IELTS, and I prepared for it, and I cleared the exam. And then when it comes to GRE, so I was trying also for US, Germany, and also some other countries. So I took GRE exam as well. But usually GRE is not highly necessary for when it comes to European countries, or in particular to Germany, because in Germany the GRE is in most of the cases GRE is optional, or it's an optional requirement and not a mandatory requirement. So, but I also wrote my GRE because I didn't have any work experience, so I thought having a GRE in my profile would also boost up my profile and add some weightage to my profile. So then I wrote my GRE in my final year. And once I finished my GRE and IELTS, and I also, since I wanted to come to Germany, I also wanted to prepare myself and to qualify a few of the German exams. Actually, I learned German German as a language in an institute in Chennai. It's known as the Goethe Institute. It's from it's a famous institute for learning German. Actually, the Goethe Institute is very famous in Germany as well for teaching languages. So I did a basic level of German language. It's known as A1. It's from A1 to, there's a 6th level. There's totally 6 levels, and I did just the first level because it was necessary for my visa applications and also for my university applications. And yeah, that's it. I prepared these things before my final year project during my bachelor studies. And then I started, before even starting preparing for my master studies, I started shortlisting the universities. I went to Google, and I basically searched in internet what are the universities present in Germany, and what are course I am interested in. And then once I shortlisted my course, the courses I wanted to apply, then I went to those websites and saw the requirements which are needed for these courses. And based on that, I prepared myself writing these exams, preparing and creating documents. And, you have to submit a lot of documents like a statement of purpose, letter of recommendation, all these kind of documents. And then I applied myself through these university websites, submitting them the documents they asked for, and also submitting all my test scores and everything. And yeah, then I got admit in a few of the universities in Germany and few in European countries. Then I decided to go to Germany because I got a full funded scholarship in Germany. So a full funded scholarship means I didn't pay anything to study. Usually when you get a place in a public university in Germany, you don't have to pay anything to study. It's completely covered by the university. You pay really a small fee, let's say like 10,000 euros per semester. So that means in 2 years of time, you would pay 40,000 rupees actually. And that's it with my studying expenses. And for living, you have to have your own money to, to eat, to pay the rent. And for this purpose, I got a fully funded scholarship where the government of Germany was giving me every month a certain amount of money to make my life in Germany easier. So let's say they were paying me like 500 euros every month. And with this 500 euros, I was able to give my rent, I could, make this for buying food and, all the day-to-day necessities. And yeah, this is so I went through a full funded scholarship. So and to get this full funded scholarships, whenever you have to apply earlier to the universities, because there are two in Germany. Usually most of the universities have 2 rounds of applicants. In the first round, you are also eligible to apply for, when you want a scholarship, you have to apply a little bit earlier because the scholarship review takes longer time than the regular admission reviews. And so I applied, if you go to the websites, they're all of the universities you want to apply, there's always all the steps mentioned in a really clear way, what all you have to do. And yeah, so this was my path to Germany. And after 2 years of studies, in my 3rd semester during my master, I applied for some internships before writing my master thesis. So, and I did my internship in the same company where I work right now. I did a 6 month of internship in the company where I worked as a trainee. And, then in this time, I also wrote my final year project for my master studies. And once everything is done, the company also offered me a full-time position to stay in the company. So, do you guys have any specific question about going
Yes,
to?
sir.
Yeah.
So is it mandatory to learn German to get to survive in Germany, sir?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I hear this question very often from a lot of my friends as well. So it's not mandatory. So to be honest, after coming here for first 2 years, I didn't have a lot of time to learn German. So I was communicating with everyone only in English. But learning German, so now I can speak moderate German. But learning German, I see the difference. Learning German makes your life very much easier in Germany. So let's say you go to Delhi and you want to live there and you cannot speak English and Hindi, and you can just speak Tamil. And I think we cannot survive there, right? Because your day-to-day life will not be so easier. You cannot make friends, and basically when it comes to social life, you come to a country not only to study and earn money, but also to to get a different experience, to get part of to know their culture, to get part of their culture and to experience new things. To achieve all these things, I think German is really important. But when it comes to getting a job or getting an internship or to achieve what you want, actually, I think German, I would not say it's really compulsory. So many of my friends are, even in my company, I work for an international company, and our main language is English there. So there are a lot of German companies and also a lot of international companies. If you go for an international company, if you're good in English, it's fine. And they would only ask you, they only want to know whether you want to learn German in the meantime, because learning German always helps you in Germany because it's the national language here. But it's not a must to find a job. Or it's not a must to come to Germany at all. So as I told, first 2 years, I was not able to speak anything. I just wrote the first level of exam, which is like really basic. I learned just ABCDs, that's it. And all the other German, I just learned by living in Germany, by living with my flatmates. I live with German people. And then you start talking with them little bit. And then one day, eventually, you can speak in German as well.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that. And must we have any job experience to apply for higher studies abroad, sir?
So as I told you, I didn't have any job experience because, I wanted to already start my master without wasting any time. And then, yeah, but it depends upon the course you apply. as I told, when you shortlist your university and also when you shortlist the courses you want to, apply for, there's a column for requirements. If you see that some university would have said minimum 2 years of experience in this particular field to enroll for these courses. When it comes to automotive studies in Germany, most of the universities require at least 1 or 2 years of experience, because automotive is really the demanding studies in Germany, and having experience for these kind of studies will always boost up your profile and you have a better chance to get a place in these universities. And it's not a must. It's definitely not a must. I've seen like almost, if there are 10 people, 5 people would come without any experience, and rest 5 people would have come with some experience. So, and make sure that if you're working somewhere in India, before you want to come to Germany for, if, let's say if you want to study data science in masters, make sure if you're working in India, you work something related to data science. Then only this experience will be counted, or this experience will be, I don't know, considered when you apply for jobs in Germany. If you'd have worked, let's say, as a, I don't know, let's say quality engineer in India for 3 years, and then when you come to Germany and study data science, and then when you apply for new jobs, of course, this experience will be considered for a certain extent, but it will not be really helpful to get you a job in data science later. So be sure what you want to study and make your mindset clear, and then you have to pave your path in the right way. Maybe for some people it's financial, due to some financial requirements. It's they would have made a decision to work first before coming to higher studies. In that case, make sure that you don't do any job just for the case of money, but do jobs based on what you want to study in the future. So it might help you to get a good university and as well as a good job later when you come to abroad countries. This is what I think actually. So this is based on my experience, what all I say right now here. So.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So maybe ask you, what was your driving force that took you to do higher studies at Germany, sir?
So I always wanted to learn. Even if I wouldn't have got a place in Germany with this full funded scholarship, I would have studied something in India as well. I had 2 options. I was thinking rather writing GATE exam to get into a place into IITs or any reputed universities in India, or to get a place in abroad universities. So if I wouldn't have got this full funded scholarship, I think I wouldn't have gone directly after my bachelor's, probably because of the financial reasons. And I would have maybe worked 2 to 3 years and get save some money, and then I would have gone. So yeah, luckily I was picked up for this full funded scholarship. I had a good score in my bachelor studies, and I had good scores with all the competitive exams. So probably this helped me to get this. And the driving force was just I was very keen to learn something new. And also, I always wanted to study masters because I really liked engineering, and I took engineering myself. I was not forced to take engineering like many other people. And another thing which pushed me to study in abroad country is like to have a new experience in a different country, in a different culture. And when I came here, I was really surprised with a lot of things, coming from a really conservative society. And then we come here and then we see a lot of new things, and how people live here, and how the culture here is. And also I did an international master's, so I studied with people almost all over the world. We were like 40 students from 15 countries all over the world, or even more than 15 countries. So I had a chance to talk with everyone from every country, and most of the countries I didn't even know before coming to Germany, like really small countries. And apart from my academic process, the things I've learned apart from my academic things, was also really fascinating for me. And I think this was also one of the factor I would always wanted to go to abroad country to study my master's as well.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you for mentioning the point that you liked engineering so much. And for people who don't, and as they are watching this, you might have set an example today for them, I believe, sir. And,
yeah, sure.
So we happen to hear that you did a lot of extracurricular activities when you were doing your bachelor's at JPR Institute, sir. So how was that helpful for you in your career, sir?
Yeah, true. That's a good point. Actually, I myself wanted to mention that. So if you ask anyone who has been graduated from a university in Germany or US, they would always say that, you know, the study methodology is totally different here. It's mostly practical here and logical thinking. You don't have to memorize anything. You don't have to write. Usually the exams we wrote here, like maximum it was 3 to 4 pages. That's it, because you basically solve equations and, you know, you think logically and apply. So for example, what all you studied in M1, like calculus or integration, you try to apply them in a particular field. So this, I was able to cope up with the students here just because I did a lot of extracurricular activities during my bachelor studies. And also, so when I was doing this extracurricular activities, like I was fabricating cars for a mechanical event through SAE India, Society of Automotive Engineers. So we participated in many events where we were able to design buggy cars, you know, go-kart and automotive small vehicles and these kind of things. And through this, I was practically able to apply what I studied through books. And also it's a lot of fun coming together with your studies, right? You study something and then you come and apply that in your real life, and then you see that it's working one day. These kind of things help you to learn in a better way what you studied in the books. And also, you know, it's a practical experience. It helps you in your logical thinking as well, and also time management. And also because in the last 2 years, you know, I went to a lot of competitions. Well, it was not only me. We had a team, like we had like a team of 15 people. We traveled like almost I don't know 6 to 7 states in India in this 2 years, each time for a week or more than a week. And then inside Tamil Nadu, we also traveled a lot for all the inter-college events. And yeah, it's also a fun factor comes together, experiencing new things. And also this will also help you to learn what all you studied in the classroom, help you to deploy what all you studied in your classroom. And another thing is, like, you know, I was not very good in English as well when I started my bachelor. And when I started doing paper presentations and poster presentations, first few times, you know, I was really feeling shy, and I got really, you know, bad comments, or, you know, people of course laugh at you. But these things will also help you to build your self-confidence. You know, now I can present in front of a lot of people, and all this, the initial step is what I made during my bachelor studies. I step outside and I started doing presentations. You know, that's how you learn the language as well, and that's how you build self-confidence, and I think time management, and also speaking in front of people and social skills. So it's at the end of the day, when you want to get a job from my employer, it's not just your technical capabilities, but also your soft skills. You know, these soft skills you cannot learn, or you cannot get from any online courses. It has to come from you, from your internal person, and that comes only with you know, going outside, socializing yourself, and, you know, getting in touch with people, and, you know, trying to talk with people and networking and all these stuffs.
Thank you, sir. So can you suggest a way for our juniors, like how should we equip ourselves and make use of our time in this lockdown, sir?
So even myself, you know, it's a pandemic situation all over the world. So what I do is, when right now in the lockdown period, you know, I work every day from home 8 hours, and then rest of the time it's really boring. So I started doing online courses myself. So I started learning something new. So this is what I would suggest to all the students as well. Now, as I told, the world is so digital. You don't have to go anywhere to learn something. Everything is in your computer. You have to just switch on your computer and then go to some, online platforms where the courses are available for free. So I really like the platform Coursera. It's an online platform, and almost most of the machine learning and artificial intelligence things, I almost learn most of the things from this website. And all the courses are for free. And only some courses you have to pay some money. And even for these courses, when you're a student, you get for like really cheap money. And there are a lot of other platforms as well, like EDX and, you know, Udemy and all these things. And you have to use this time in a very effective way. And, you know, this is the time that you can learn something new. You cannot do anything. You cannot be distracted. You cannot go out play cricket now. So this is the time you can sit and, you know, you can start learning new. And anything you start learning new is fun always. You know, it's you know, even though you don't know anything or you don't like it, if you start something new, most of the people find it fun. and yeah, just try to see what you want to do in the future. So I wouldn't say everyone to learn data science or machine learning. You have to find what you want to do after your engineering. If you're a, I don't know, mechanical student, and if you want to really go into a core company and work with engines, then you have to specialize yourself in that, right? So, and it's not only about writing about engines for 10 pages, but you have to really know how engine works, and how you can practically work for your employer. So these kind of things you can develop in these days. Yeah, try to make use of learning something new, which would help you reaching what you want to do in your future, actually.
Thank you, sir. And those were all for today's queries, sir. Thank you, Mr. Anish, for sharing the insights about machine learning and data analytics in the field of wind energy, and also for telling us about the abroad higher studies there at Germany.
Yeah,
And
thanks a lot.
finally,
It was my pleasure.
yes, sir. Finally, I request Ms. Cynthia Clarender to render a thanking note. Please, ma'am.
Oh, thank you, Rachel. So thank you, Mr. Anish Venu, for this wonderful, lively session. It is indeed a great pleasure for us to, having you here as an alumni of JIT, to meet you again. And your session about machine learning and your personal experience about going to abroad. So it was indeed a great motivational speech for our students. Thank you once again, sir.
It's my pleasure, actually. I'm always happy to address the students from my bachelor university, Japan Institute of Technology. So yeah, as everything started from there, and I also received a huge support from our college management, especially from our director sir, to start my studies in abroad. And yeah, so I'm always thankful for it, and I always enjoy talking to the students, sharing my experience. And yeah, thanks a lot for you all organizing such a good event, so to use this time in an effective way. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you once again, sir. Do keep in touch with us. And on behalf
Definitely.
of
Yeah.
Yeah, on behalf of JPR Institute of Technology, I would like to thank our beloved Director Sir, Dr. N. Murray Wilson, for this great opportunity to conduct Let JIT Chat via our alumni. It is a great initiative to have an interaction with our own alumni. Thank you once again, sir, for this great idea. Secondly, would like to thank our principal ma'am, Dr. L.M. Merlin Livingston, for her immense support towards the sessions. And also, I would like to thank Mr. Mahendranath sir, in charge of Higher Studies Bureau of JIT, and Mr. Devanathan placement coordinator, for their support towards the Alumni Association, and Mr. Murli sir for helping us through the YouTube live sessions. And also I'd like to thank Ms. Rachel, Department of IT Final Year Student JIT, the moderator of the event. Last but not the least, I would like to thank all the participants for patiently and enjoying our sessions, and especially for the active participants, those who have been throughout the sessions. And thank you once again. Do join us in the upcoming sessions. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And I also once again thank Mr. Anish for sparing your time today, though it is early morning, on sharing all your knowledges about the things that you've learned in Germany to your juniors. We're so very happy to have you with us today, sir. And thank you so much for spending your time with us, sir. And I also
Yeah,
thank JPM Institute for having taken this initiative. Thank
yeah,
you.
you're welcome. And I also thank you all, and take care, be safe, stay healthy, and yeah, be happy. Bye.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.